Hi, this is Tracy with Acropolis Technology Group. One of the questions we get asked a lot is, how do you triage tickets? How do you prioritize tickets? What can I expect if I'm a client of Acropolis? I can't speak for other managed service providers out there in St. Louis or anywhere else, but I can talk very specifically about how we do it and what it is we do. So one thing that we write into every single one of our agreements that we review with you before you even get started with us are what our service level targets are. Obviously, just like in healthcare, every issue is not as critical. If I go to the emergency room with the flu, I would hope that is going to be treated a little bit different than if I go to the emergency room with a heart attack. I would hope the heart attack obviously gets a higher triage and a higher priority. We do the same thing in Acropolis. So we break down our tickets in priority 1 emergency, priority 2, priority 3, which is normal, and then priority 4 is, hey, this is an issue that's out there that there's no real workaround for today. It's more of a nuisance. So some of the things that we track, and I'm going to talk very specifically about numbers here over the last 30 days, we pay very, very close attention to this. So one metric we track is triage, time to triage a ticket. Think of it as, again, I use a bad analogy, going to the hospital or going to the doctor. You go to the emergency room, you actually fill out the paperwork, you list what the issue is, and then you go wait in the waiting room. So how long does it take to actually get the ticket logged and assigned and prioritized? So our target at Acropolis is 20 minutes. Over the last 30 days, we're averaging 27.4 minutes to triage all of our tickets across the board. Again, like I said, all tickets are not created equal. One thing that we tell clients to do is, if you're having an emergency, do not submit tickets via the web. Do not send us an email. Don't send us smoke signals. Pick up the phone and call us. So although all tickets are not created equal, when I look across the board, the average is 27.4 minutes. But I can tell you our priority 1 emergency tickets, 100%. Those are all triaged immediately, and the reason is because we tell our clients to call. And in the event that some clients don't necessarily understand that, or when they're new, they submit it via an email. When we see that, we tell them, look, there's an emergency, we're jumping on it right away. But from now on, pick up the phone and call us. That is the quickest way to get hold of us. Priority 2 tickets, we are triaging in our time frame at 90% of the time. It's a little off. It's not where I want it to be. We have had some people take vacations, and our dispatcher and triage person has been off on some leave a little bit. So that can be part of it, but that's still something we pay attention to. The other thing we look at is time to how long does it take to actually get an engineer working the ticket? And again, we go over all these SLTs with you so that you fully understand them. But when I look at that, and when I look at the emergency tickets we had over the last 90 days, when I look at this number, 74% of them have been working within our time to work the ticket. I actually think that number is a little suspect, and after this video, I'm going to dig in and figure out why. If 100% of the time we triage the phone call, those are getting handed off directly to an engineer, and that engineer is working the ticket. If it's showing 74% us not responding to the ticket within our own service level target, that tends to tell me that we're creating the ticket after the fact, or we're jumping on and working the problem without fully capturing the time, if for lack of a better term, because there would be no reason for us to triage the ticket 100% of the time and then let it sit. That just doesn't make sense. The second priority 2 ticket, which is the second most important ticket we have, normally leads to a small group of people not able to work, or something that's important but not shutting down the company. When I look at those, over the last 30 days, we hit our target to work the ticket 85% of the time. A little less than what I want it to be. I wish it were a little higher over the last 30 days. Normally runs a little higher, but that's something we track, and that is full transparent. That's what it is right now on today's date as I look at that. The last and probably the most important is the time it takes to resolve the ticket. So when I look at that, when I look at emergency, we are at 90% in resolution. It's probably the same reason that I spoke about before. The ticket probably wasn't logged correctly, or there was something in there. Or another possible outcome can be the resolution was outside our target time frame, but was beyond our control. So a lot of times we're the first phone call when there are third-party issues, if there's problems with the internet or problems with Office 365 being down. However, all that time goes against. We track all that time. So if it's outside of our control and takes a little longer to resolve, there are a couple instances here that I'm looking at which very well might have been the case. I'll dig in and look at that, and it's something we track very closely. Priority 2, which again is important tickets, not as important as emergency, but still very important. We're at 95% over the last 30 days and hitting our service level targets for resolution. Again, there are things sometimes outside of our control, but 95% of the time we solve the problems, get the problems fixed within the time frame that we talk about at onboarding. Normal tickets is not everything else, but normal tickets are exactly that. It's not necessarily a work stoppage. There's reasonable workarounds. 98% of the time we hit we hit our service level target in the last 30 days. And then last is priority 4 extended. Those can be, hey, it would be nice if the piece of software did this, or there's a bug in the piece of software that we're waiting for the next patch, or waiting for the next release. It's something we don't want to lose track of. It can be, hey, you know what, I need a printer, but it's not very important. The printer I have working is fine. The next time you do something on site, or next time you have somebody out here, can you bring a printer and set it up? It's very low priority things. It's get it done whenever you can get to it. We solved all those tickets 94% of the time versus our target. So across the board, the number of our tickets that met completed status across all the ranges was 97%, which is above our target, which is fantastic. The number of the percentage meeting our service level targets of working ticket now is 86%. That's in the yellow category here as I look at it. It's something that we needed to do better on over the next 30 days. And that's the job of our service desk manager, and that's something that he looks at very, very closely. And then our overall triage was 27 minutes over the last 30 days. We want that to be a little tighter and a little quicker as well. So by all means, pick up the phone and call us. We're happy to go through our service level targets with you and what our goals are and what we think leads to really good service for you. Pick up the phone and call us. We're happy to talk to you about it. We're happy to sit down and talk to you and answer any questions you might have. Again, my name is Tracy with Acropolis Technology Group, and I appreciate you taking the time today.